Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. So today we're going to be taking a look at two fantasy novels.
Yeah.
Ella Enchanted and Ogre.
I'm excited for these.
Yeah, me too. And from what I've gathered, you're a big fan.
Huge fan.
Strong female characters, transformations.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
And unique magic systems. So
it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're really going to enjoy these.
I think so too.
They both feature the same character, Ella.
Oh, cool.
She's dealing with some pretty unusual circumstances in both books. In Ella Enchanted, she's cursed with obedience. And then in Ogre, she undergoes a pretty dramatic transformation.
Oh, that sounds...
You could say that, yeah.
I can't wait to hear about this.
I know. It's so interesting how they both kind of explore this idea of challenging fate. You know, she's thrown into these really difficult situations, but you really see her spirit and resilience shine through.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So let's start with Ella Enchanted.
Okay.
You mentioned that you are interested in unique magic systems.
Oh, yeah, one of my favorites.
And this one definitely delivers.
Yes.
Can you imagine living in a world where you're cursed with absolute obedience?
That would be...
That's Ella's reality.
Oh, no.
Every single command, no matter how ridiculous or cruel, she can't resist it.
Wow.
Like being told to eat something disgusting.
Ugh.
Or having to endure a tedious ball when you'd rather be anywhere else.
Right.
For Ella, it's not a choice.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that level of powerlessness would make me feel incredibly vulnerable.
Oh, for sure. I think that obedience curse it's such a clever
It is.
literary device, and it's constantly forcing her to be resourceful and think outside the box.
Right.
Like when she's upstairs and pretends that she was tempted to slide down the banister just to avoid punishment.
Yeah.
I love that. She uses like humor and wordplay to navigate her curse, which I think speaks to her strength of character.
Absolutely. And it's not just social situations, though.
Right.
Traveling alone as a young woman in this world,
Oh, yeah.
it's dangerous enough.
Absolutely.
You've got bandits, ogres, you name it.
Wow.
And the baker even warns Ella about all these threats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really interesting considering what happens to her in Ogre.
Oh, right.
But with the curse, every encounter just becomes so much riskier.
Yeah.
Any stranger could command her to do something dangerous.
Oh, that's...
And she wouldn't be able to refuse.
Scary. That's a really good point, that it almost foreshadows her future transformation.
Yeah.
We start off with all these like scary stories about ogres, and then later she actually experiences ogre society firsthand.
Exactly.
Which is so interesting. I love that.
It might even change your perspective.
Oh, for sure.
On those initial fears. Right? Absolutely.
There's also this scene at the Giant's Feast.
Okay.
Where Ella is trying to eat with this oversized silverware.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's hilarious.
I can imagine.
But I think anyone who's ever felt out of place can relate to that struggle, you know?
Totally.
What stood out to you about that scene?
Well, I really love how it emphasizes Ella's adaptability and her ability to find humor even in really awkward situations.
Right.
I mean, here she is surrounded by giants, struggling with utensils that are bigger than her arms.
Right.
But she still manages to make light of it.
Yeah, she does.
It's great.
And we can't forget Char's homecoming song.
Oh, yes.
It's more than just a beautiful melody. It really foreshadows his connection with Ella and speaks to her strength.
Oh, cool.
And remember how you love strong female characters?
Oh, yes.
The lyrics are all about resilience and hope, qualities that Ella embodies throughout both books.
It's like the song is hinting at the inner strength that she's going to need for all her future trials.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It is.
I love how authors can do that.
Yeah,
you know, use seemingly small details to hint at larger themes.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's really powerful.
Absolutely.
It also introduces a romantic element that we see developed in Ogre.
Yeah.
And it showcases Char's sensitivity and his unique Eorthian culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I love it.
Okay, so now let's dive into Ogre.
Okay.
This is where we meet Evie, which is Ella, after her transformation. And she's become this incredible healer.
Oh, wow.
Even Wormy, who's her close friend, relies on her medical expertise for everything.
Oh, cool.
Even like a simple itch.
Wow.
It seems like she's really found a calling that brings her a lot of fulfillment, even though, you know, her circumstances are a little unusual, shall we say.
A little, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But her healing abilities become really central to her character in Ogre. wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. I think they represent her compassion
Yeah.
and resourcefulness, which she definitely needs as she navigates the challenges of being an ogre.
Absolutely. And those challenges are pretty significant, starting with the transformation itself.
Right.
She goes from being this graceful young woman to a powerful ogre with a voracious appetite.
Whoa.
And a taste for raw meat.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, it's a little unsettling.
Yeah, that's quite a change.
It really is. And her senses are heightened, too.
Oh, wow.
There's this scene where she describes the scent of Kyrian clematis.
Okay.
Which is a flower she used to love, and now it's almost offensive to her.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So it affects her on like a sensory level, too.
Totally, yeah.
Not just physical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just physical, it affects her psychologically.
Yeah.
She even devours like an entire side of beef
in
one sitting.
That's a lot of beef.
Which really showcases her ogre strength.
That's a powerful image. It really highlights the drastic change that she's undergoing.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then on top of all that,
yeah,
she's got this time limit.
Oh, no.
Lucinda, who's the fairy who cursed her, only gives her 62 days.
Oh, my goodness.
To break the spell.
Wow.
And she has to find true love to do it.
Oh, it's a lot of pressure.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
And the time limit really adds this sense of urgency to the plot and forces Evie to confront her feelings.
Right.
The curse isn't just about finding any love. It's got to be genuine and reciprocated.
Oh, wow.
So it adds like another layer of complexity to it.
Absolutely.
Right. And then she has to navigate ogre society.
Oh, right.
They live in these bands with like complex social dynamics and they have their own way of communicating, which is pretty fascinating.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, yeah. Remember the tooth pulling scene?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But it really gives you a glimpse into their unique culture.
Right.
And how Evie's trying to kind of integrate into this new society.
It's so cool how the book challenges our preconceived notions about ogres. They're not just like mindless brutes, you know?
Right, yeah.
They have traditions, a sense of community, and a really pragmatic approach to life.
Yeah, they do.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And then there's Master Peter.
Okay.
Who's a human who's initially terrified of Evie.
Oh, wow.
But gradually warms up to her.
Okay.
And even develops romantic feelings.
Interesting.
So, you know, kind of explores those ideas of prejudice.
Yeah.
And how attraction can really defy expectations.
Totally.
So what do you make of his character, especially in relation to, you know, you said you love strong female characters.
Yeah.
How do you think he kind of plays into that?
Well, I think his initial fear really represents those societal prejudices against ogres.
Right.
And his journey towards acceptance and even romantic interests, it really speaks to the power of individual connection to overcome those biases. It really makes you wonder, you know, can love truly conquer all?
That's a great question.
Even deep-seated prejudice.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so interesting.
And then, as if all this wasn't enough, there's this deadly plague sweeping the land called the Blight.
Oh, wow.
And Evie steps up to cure it.
Oh, wow.
Using her skills and this rare herb called purpline.
Okay.
It really showcases her selflessness and her incredible resourcefulness.
Absolutely. I think that the Blight becomes this, like, catalyst for Evie's growth as a character.
Yeah, totally.
It forces her to put her skills to the ultimate test and really demonstrates her compassion for others.
Absolutely.
And the fact that the purpline is a finite resource, it highlights the risk that she's taking to save lives.
Yeah.
She's not just handing out a cure.
Yeah.
She's making a real sacrifice.
Yeah, totally.
I love that.
We also meet Squire Gerald,
Okay.
who's the king's son who's been raised in secret.
Oh, wow.
His grandfather, the master, is fiercely protective of him.
Gotcha.
And there's definitely this sense of danger surrounding this secret.
Yeah.
What kind of questions does this hidden identity raise for you?
Well, it immediately makes me think about succession and the potential for conflict. You know, is the king aware of his son's existence?
Right.
What will happen when the secret comes to light?
Yeah.
It's that classic element of political intrigue that just throws a wrench into everything.
Yeah. I love it.
It's great.
And then Wormy returns.
Oh, I love Wormy.
Yeah. Remember him from Ella Enchanted?
Yeah.
He feels so guilty about accidentally causing Ella's transformation.
Right.
And he's so worried about her safety.
Yeah.
And he even reveals that Sir Peter, who's Master Peter's knight, has been spreading all these rumors about Evie.
Oh, no.
Which is not good.
Yeah, that's That's definitely a red flag.
Yeah, totally.
What does Wormy's return kind of bring to the story for you?
I know. What do you think?
Well, I think it brings that element of familiarity from Ella Enchanted into the world of Ogre.
Yeah.
It's almost comforting to see a familiar face.
Totally.
And his guilt and concern for Evie just really underscore their bond. And it makes me think he might play a role in helping her break the curse.
Oh, yeah.
And that revelation about Sir Peter definitely adds a layer of suspicion.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if he's truly a friend to Master Peter and by extension to Evie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
And then things get even more interesting when the king decides to host a tournament.
Oh, wow.
And Evie, despite not wanting to be a spectacle, she displays this amazing tactical brilliance.
Oh, cool.
And even wins the king's acknowledgement.
Wow.
Prince Peter, on the other hand, seems increasingly uneasy.
Oh, interesting.
What do you think is going on there?
I think the tournament highlights this side of Evie that often gets overlooked, which is her intelligence.
Right.
People underestimate ogres, assuming they're all brawn and no brains.
Right.
But Evie really turns that stereotype on its head.
Yeah.
And the fact that the king recognizes her intelligence and Prince Peter is uncomfortable suggests there's this shift in the power dynamics.
Well,
and I wouldn't be surprised if it leads to some conflict down the line.
That's a great observation. It seems like we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, for sure.
Of what's to come.
Yeah.
I know. There's so much to unpack in these books.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break and then come back and dive even deeper.
Sounds good.
I'm dying to hear what you think about some of the later plot twists.
I'm ready for it.
All right.
Yeah. Evie's victory at the tournament, it's a big moment for her.
Yeah.
But things take a turn when the truth about Sir Peter comes out.
Oh, no.
He's been playing everyone.
Oh, wow.
Lady Eleanor, the king, maybe even Master Peter.
My goodness.
Evie uncovers his true nature, and it just raises all these questions about trust.
Right.
Especially for someone who's under a curse, you know?
It's a tough break for Evie.
It is.
She's already dealing with the ogre transformation and this ticking clock to break the curse.
Right.
And then on top of it all, she has to deal with this betrayal.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about, you know, the masks people wear.
Yeah.
And the dangers of hidden agendas.
Oh, absolutely. Sir Peter's manipulation.
Yeah.
It's a classic example of how someone's charm can hide a darker side.
Right.
It's a good reminder that even in fairy tales, you can't always judge a book by its cover.
That's true. That's true.
So
faced with all this, Evie makes a decision.
Okay.
She's going to accept her situation and return to the master.
Oh, wow.
It seems like giving up.
Yeah.
But I think it shows a lot of maturity and resilience.
Right.
She's choosing to find peace in the life that she's built rather than chasing after something that might not be real.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a departure from that typical fairy tale ending where the curse is always broken.
Yeah.
Evie's choice to accept her ogre form, I think, is such a powerful statement about self-love and finding strength in unexpected places.
Absolutely.
It makes you think about what true happiness really looks like, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Is it about fitting into societal expectations, or is it about embracing who you truly are?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And just when it seems like all hope is lost, we get a surprise.
Oh.
Lady Eleanor breaks off her engagement to Sir Peter.
Wow.
She finds out about all his lies and manipulations.
Right.
And she decides she's not going to be a pawn in his game.
Good for her.
It's a great moment of solidarity between her and Evie, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lady Eleanor defying those societal expectations by breaking off the engagement.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It is.
It shows how much she's grown as a character.
Right.
And the fact that she recognizes Evie, an ogre, as someone worthy of respect and friendship.
Totally.
I think that speaks volumes about her character.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And then we meet Mandy, the cook, at Lady Eleanor's house.
Okay.
And it turns out she's a fairy.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing. She refuses to interfere with Lucinda's curse on Evie.
Oh, really?
She says that meddling with magic can have all these unforeseen consequences.
Oh.
So it's kind of a different perspective on magic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just a tool to solve all your problems.
Right.
It has its limits and potential downsides.
I find that really intriguing.
Me too.
It adds a layer of realism to the fantasy world.
Yeah.
It suggests that even magic, with all its power, can't always provide a quick fix. And Mandy's caution, I think, reminds us that good intentions don't always lead to positive outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is something we see in the real world all the time.
All the time, yeah. So then there's this grand ball at Lady Eleanor's house.
Okay.
And Evie is not exactly thrilled about attending.
Right.
But she goes to support her friend, and wouldn't you know it?
Yeah.
There's this hilarious scene where she makes up this elaborate curtsy, and everyone, even the king, follows suit.
Oh, that's
it's such a funny scene.
Yeah, that scene is pure gold.
I know.
It showcases Evie's quick wit and ability to adapt even in her ogre form, and the fact that everyone follows her lead. It's like she's subtly challenging those social norms and making people question their assumptions about ogres.
It's a perfect example of how humor can be used to subvert expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the lightheartedness doesn't last long.
Oh.
Prince Peter arrives.
Oh, no.
And insists on dancing with Evie, even though she's clearly uncomfortable.
Right.
It's a power play, plain and simple.
Yeah, you can feel the tension building.
Oh, for sure.
Evie knows Prince Peter is bad news.
Yeah.
And we're all just kind of waiting for the inevitable confrontation.
Right.
And what a confrontation it is.
Oh, I bet.
Evie outsmarts and overpowers Prince Peter.
Wow.
Exposes his deception to everyone.
Nice.
And frees those he's been controlling.
Yes.
Talk about a satisfying moment of justice.
That's cool.
It's like a culmination of everything she's learned and endured throughout the story.
Absolutely. And her ogre strength.
Yeah.
It's definitely a factor in her victory.
Yeah.
But it's her intelligence and her strategic thinking that truly win the day.
Yeah.
She doesn't just rely on brute force.
Yeah.
She uses her wits to outmaneuver her opponent.
It's a great example of brains over brawn.
Absolutely.
And it really, subverts that stereotypical image of ogres as mindless creatures.
I love that.
Yeah.
And there's that scene a bit earlier where Evie explains ogre warfare to Squire Gerald.
Okay.
She challenges his assumptions about ogres taking trophies and boasting about their kills.
Yeah, it's a really important scene.
That scene, I think, is so crucial for understanding Evie's moral compass.
Right.
Despite being an ogre, she still holds on to her human values, rejecting that brutality that's often associated with her new form.
Right.
It's a powerful reminder that appearances can be deceiving.
Yeah.
And that true character goes beyond physical form.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's also interesting to see her wrestling with her growing feelings for Master Peter.
Yeah.
She's drawn to him, but the curse and the time limit are always kind of looming over her.
Right. That internal conflict, I think, really drives the story.
Yeah.
It raises the question, is it worth risking heartbreak for a chance at love?
That's a great question.
And if she does fall in love, will it be enough to break the curse? It's that classic fairy tale dilemma.
It is.
But with a fresh perspective.
And then, just when you think things might work out, she discovers that Master Peter might have been manipulating her all along. It's a devastating realization that makes you question everything about their relationship.
The possibility of Master Peter's betrayal.
Yeah.
It just adds another layer of complexity to their relationship. Yeah. It makes you wonder, can you truly know someone?
Right.
Even someone you're falling in love with.
And amidst all this drama,
yeah,
Evie finds a genuine connection with Lady Eleanor.
Oh, that's nice.
They bond over their shared experience of being manipulated by Sir Peter.
Right.
And it's a beautiful example of female solidarity and the power of empathy.
Their friendship is a testament to the idea that true connection can transcend social barriers and even physical differences.
Absolutely. I love that.
And then there's the twist with Squire Gerald.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually the rightful heir to the throne.
Wow.
And his grandfather's been protecting him all these years.
That's amazing.
It adds this whole other layer of political intrigue to the story.
The revelation of Squire Gerald's true identity.
Yeah.
It changes everything.
It does.
Suddenly there's this
potential power struggle brewing.
Right.
And it raises questions about who can be trusted and what lengths people will go to for power.
So we have this intricate web of relationships and betrayals and hidden identities, all set against the backdrop of this magical world with talking animals and a deadly plague and a fairy who refuses to meddle.
Yeah.
it's a lot to take in.
Oh, Ogre takes all those traditional fairy tale tropes and turns them on their head and gives us this complex and thought-provoking story that challenges our expectations at every turn.
Let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And talk about another fantasy world with its own unique challenges.
Sounds good.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a community completely cut off from the outside world?
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
And it's something that's explored in depth and in the next book we'll be diving into.
You know, looking back at Ella Enchanted and Ogre, it really strikes me that both Ella and Evie, they're both healers in their own right.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not just about potions and herbs.
Right.
It's about how they approach problems.
Yeah.
And use their own unique strengths to help others.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. Like in Ella Enchanted, you know, Ella, she uses her wit and resourcefulness to kind of navigate all those tricky social situations and even find loopholes in her curse, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a different kind of healing.
It is.
But it's healing nonetheless.
Yeah.
She's using her mind to mend broken social dynamics and find solutions where others see only obstacles.
Exactly. And then in Ogre, you know, Evie, she embraces a more physical approach, utilizing her strength and her knowledge of herbs to literally cure illness and protect those around her.
I think it's such a beautiful reflection of their journeys.
It is.
You know, Ella, cursed with obedience, has to rely on her intellect and her cunning to navigate a world where she has very little control. And Evie, transformed into an ogre, finds strength and purpose in her physical abilities and her connection to the natural world.
Yeah, it's like they each find a way to heal themselves and others using the tools that they have at their disposal.
I love that.
And it's so fascinating how these seemingly different approaches to healing are both so effective. And in the end, both Ella and Evie, they find their own versions of happily ever after. Even though, you know, their paths are far from conventional.
It's so refreshing to see female characters like that.
It is.
Who defy expectations and create their own destinies.
Yeah.
They don't wait for a prince to rescue them. They take charge of their own lives, make difficult choices, and ultimately find happiness on their own terms.
Exactly. They embody that, you know, strong female character element you mentioned earlier.
One of my favorites.
I know. So if you haven't already,
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out Ella Enchanted and Ogre.
Yeah.
You'll be transported to these imaginative worlds,
Absolutely.
meet these captivating characters, and find yourself pondering some pretty thought-provoking themes.
I agree.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You might even discover a bit of Ella or Evie in yourself.
That's what makes a good deep dive so rewarding, isn't it?
It is.
Discovering new perspectives and connecting with characters in a way that makes you reflect on your own life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining me
Of course.
on this journey into the world of Ella and Evie.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time,
Yeah.
happy reading.